Hey, it's Ryan the Bugman, and as promised, you know, we went scorpion hunting last night, and then today we woke up in Madera Canyon. And it's a beautiful day, but it's gonna get desert hot. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get an early start. We did a little bit of breakfast, which was cool. Martin cooked us up some oatmeal, and then we ate some fruit and did a quick snack, and now we're packed up and we're gonna collect our way down the canyon and out the canyon, and eventually we're gonna go to Wilcox for tiger beetles today. That is also gonna be cool. So stay with us, man. We're taking you along for the ride. It's Bugman in Arizona. I've been collecting in Madera Canyon for probably 35, we'll call it 30 years. I think the first time I came here was back in 1986. I did a trip to Arizona and into New Mexico, and it was a 7-day mad dash collecting trip with my buddy Lee Guidry from out in California. That was really my first taste of the Southwest and Southwest collecting, and I was hooked, man. Arizona is a world-renowned mecca for insect collecting. Places like Madera Canyon and the Chiricahuas and Peña Blanca, the same places we're going this week, are all in the same category of mecca for people to come collect. When people come to find insects in Arizona, they almost always come to Madera Canyon or Peña Blanca or all of the above. So we're gonna hit all those cool places, and I love this trip. I love coming on this trip, and I wish I could do it more, but about every other year or so. So Madera Canyon is placed in the Coronado National Forest, and look, man, if you have an appreciation for the outdoors, be it hunting or bugs or birding, anything where you have a passion for the outdoors, you have to appreciate national parks, national forests, that kind of open space, green space where people can access. The habitat here is extremely unique. We're looking at high desert habitat, so we've got cool stuff. We've got the desert broom. We got, I don't know what this even is, but it is a beautiful little pink flower. But we got all this cool stuff in here that attracts very, very specific, desert-specific insects. Those desert-specific insects are then going to attract the birds and the predators that feed on those same things as well. So it is an ecosystem within itself, but it's unique enough that by coming here, we can expect to find some very cool stuff. You're gonna notice that there are some high ridges. You're gonna notice that there are also some deep valleys. So we're mid-range. We're only about halfway out of the canyon so far. And in doing so, as we push out of the canyon, it gets progressively warmer. It's 9 o'clock in the morning now, and it's probably 80 degrees. But it's a dry heat, you know. No, it's warm, and it's going to get a lot hotter as we move out. But as we move out, we also find different insects. So eventually, we're going to be finding some of the lower areas that are hot and drier, and we're going to find some cool tiger beetles, hopefully. And then we're going to push all the way out where we're going to be, looking for some of the lower habitat, the drier desert kind of things. And eventually, we're headed for Wilcox for real tiger beetles. So I'm checking out the desert broom right now. This is a really cool plant, really unique plant. The leaves look more like soft needles. And I'm looking for longhorn beetles. There's particular types, particular species of beetles and insects that will use this to hide in it. They also feed on it. And in some cases, you can find some outrageous insects on these. Look at that. This is a big longhorn beetle, and I want to flip him over so you can see the blue legs. They're super beautiful. And these beetles are harmless. Very slippery, but harmless. This is a cool little longhorn beetle that our editor Logan just found hiding down in the brush. Not really doing much. It looks like he probably was just waiting to warm up enough that he could start flying. And I'm pretty sure he's going to go home with Martin. See where that beetle's hiding? He's not up in the broom. He's down here in the first bunch of.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of these. Yeah. Oh, wait do you see is he's got big jaws on him. He's really cool. This is a cool longhorn beetle, guys. This is a Trachodaries mandibularis, otherwise known as the longhorn beetle with huge jaws. Look at those. Look at those antennae. How beautiful are those? And those monster jaws. And the fun part is, guys, these are harmless. All right, they're just a beetle. They're not out there. I mean, if I let him bite me, it's you know, he can bite, he can pinch, but he's not gonna do anything. But look at the colors. Look how beautiful he is. Super, super nice. These are out here, man. Again, right here on the desert broom. This is the kind of stuff we're in here looking for, because this is Arizona right here, man. That's about as Arizona as it's gonna get. So Steve, something that you're gonna notice on a lot of this desert broom out here, especially where the public has access to it, you're gonna notice that the desert broom is purposely broken over and laid down. And in the process, you're gonna also notice where people have taken a knife and they slice in to these branches. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the branch bleed a little bit. And by bleed, I mean it exudes the sap and the juice inside. That actually attracts beetles. So what people will do is they'll break these bushes all up, then they'll drive away, and they'll come back in like 2 hours to see what kind of beetles have been attracted to.
No kidding.
It's terrible to do that though, because they're ruining the plants by doing so. They're literally kill the plants by doing it. But if you look around, especially along the roads in some places where public gets easy access, you're gonna see that a lot of these plants were purposely broken over. But you can tell where somebody took a knife and actually cut into this, just specifically to make this bleed. And that's an old cut, that's probably a week old. But that's how it works.
No kidding.
It's a terrible thing to do, man.
Yeah. Wow.
So Logan, this is Ocotillo. Now, this is a young plant, so it's kind of low growth. I want you to note these thorns, and they look less menacing until you feel that they're actually really hard. And to get hit by this, to hit, to run into this, to grab a hold of this, is going to be brutal. There's a price to pay. Now, the Coletta silk moth, which is native out here in the southwestern U.S., feeds on this. And you notice there's some feed marks here. That could be browse, maybe from deer or something that did that. But we like to check these when we find them, because you'll find the caterpillars actually feed and eat the leaves up in between these needles. So usually if we find one and it's sort of gutted of leaves, then we know that probably either has or had Coletta larva on it. Again, this is just a young one, and there's unfortunately no larva on here, but really cool. Now, later in the summer, like within the next probably, I don't see any buds happening now, but later in the summer, within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks, this is going to get covered. It'll be taller, but it'll get covered in bright red flowers all the way from the bottom to the top. Every one of these spires is going to have bright red flowers. Beautiful. It's sort of a one-of-a-kind desert plant. All right, so here's a really cool little wasp, and it's a female, and I know it's a female because that is an ovipositor. She's out of the family Chalcidae, and check out those really big, thick femurs. That kind of gives part of their name. That's how we kind of identify these things. Now, we don't know if this one is going to lay her eggs in plants or caterpillars, or it could be a lot of different things. This is a really complex family of parasitoids, but still an outstanding little wasp with a lot of neat traits. Check out those femurs. So we're working our way out of Madera Canyon, and I drive past this side road that takes us to an old missile site. It's closed off to the public, but right here in the front are 2 huge puddles left over from the rains that came through last night, the monsoons. And I knew there was going to be something hanging out here, because when you put water in the middle of the desert, stuff is going to come to it. So it turns out we found tiger beetles here. I'm not sure what kind they are yet. We're not really sure. Tiger beetles are in the family Cicindelidae, and they're predatory. So they're going to be wandering around the edges of this water, but they're going to be feeding on insects. They can run fast and they can fly real well. They're a heck of a challenge to catch with a net. So we're in here being outrun and outflown on a regular basis. There's two, one more. That looks like another mating pair, but I can't tell. But there's definitely one.
I see it.
Okay. Get all three of them if you're... Ah, you missed! Ah! Are they not tiger beetles? They're not tiger beetles. I fooled you.
Oh, no, there's one in here.
Good, you did get the one then. I was right on the one. Good, so you got one.
I'm BugMan Steve, and this is a giant velvet mite. These guys come out after the monsoons and they predominantly hunt on termites. They're completely harmless. This is actually the first time I've ever found one. It is really cool.
We've left Madera Canyon and we're now headed east, straight east to Wilcox, Arizona. That particular location is world renowned for tiger beetles. So we're gonna go to Wilcox, probably grab a bite to eat, and then we're gonna hunt tigers. Not literally, but tiger beetles. And hopefully we better show you guys what tiger beetles are and show you the really cool environment over here and these kind of nasty salt ponds that they have laid up. But it's excellent environment and attracts lots of tiger beetles. So that's why we're going. So we're in Wilcox, Arizona. Normally this is a mecca for tiger beetle collecting, and there's no water at the first pond we came to. This should be a pond. There should be almost a lake here, and even if it doesn't get very deep, there's still standing water here under most circumstances. I've never seen this dry before. The fact that there is water over there tells me there's a little bit of hope left that this particular area is going to sit. But reclaimed wastewater, I don't need to go into details on that. I think everybody can figure out what that means. Besides that, this is how important water is to the desert. Even something as simple as reclaimed wastewater still ends up providing a home for birds. This is supposed to be a bird refuge. There's blinds over there where people can sit and hide and watch birds. We would come here and collect tiger beetles for hours on end, but at this point, tiger beetle collecting is a bust. We're gonna head on over to the second pond and see if we can do a little better over there. Hang on, I got it. So yeah, tiger beetles for Wilcox today is a bust. We counted a total of 4 tiger beetles, all the same species. So the variety is apparently not here. The tiger beetles are not here, and neither is the water. So guess what? We're not going to be here either. We got other things we can go do. We got a place over here. We're going to go flip some boards and some wood and some junk, and we're going to go see if we can dig up some scorpions and maybe even find a really cool Arizona centipede. I got 2 to choose from, so we may find either one there. But that's the plan, man. We're out here looking for bugs. So even when we find a bust, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make it plan B. So always something cool going on with a Bugman. You take an environment like this that really would be probably considered by most people to be just contaminated wastewater and an absolute waste of space. But nature finds a way, and nature was using this and probably will use it again if that water is ever restored, these levels are ever restored. And that's kind of a shame to think that even nature under these circumstances still can't catch a break. You know, you got to figure that wastewater is still happening and going somewhere, but it's just not feeding to these ponds like it used to. These ponds are pretty much dried up at this point. All right, so check it out, man. We have arrived at the next spot in Wilcox. This is an old dump, an old junkyard. But what happens is people throw this stuff out here and then it sits here for endless time. and then scorpions and centipedes crawl in under this stuff and they make a home out of it. So we come out here, we roll and we flip, and we expose these centipedes and these scorpions to find them. It makes it pretty simple if they're here. That's the trick. So let's hope they're here, right? So first thing we're gonna do, Logan's gonna help me roll this. We're gonna roll it back that way. Ready? And careful, there might be a snake under here. Ready? Go. Nothing but glass.
Alright, right here we have a striped tail scorpion down here, also called striped devils. That's about as big as they get. They're pretty aggressive, but their venom is really not that toxic at all. So, they make cool pets. They have their place in the ecosystem here, so they're fairly common around the whole state, actually. So, but there he goes. There he goes.
All right, man, so we came and we managed to find, well, BugMan Steve managed to find a striped tail scorpion, so that's coming home with us. You know what? Wilcox, who knew? Sometimes you hit them and sometimes you miss them. Our next location is the Chiricahuas. We're gonna shoot across to Turkey Point. You know what? It's gonna take a couple hours to get there. We'll check some of the desert broom on the way there. This is really nice and simple and easy to hit, where I can usually find the whip scorpions. We can usually find some of the bark scorpions, striped tails. Blacklighting up in the Chiricahuas can be a lot of fun. Sometimes there's Coletta, sometimes there's black witch, sometimes there's just stuff there that I don't always see when I'm at Madera or when I'm in some of these other places. I tend not to see the same things everywhere we go. So you get it, man. We're gonna bail out of Wilcox. We're gonna head on over to the Chiricahuas. We're gonna head for Turkey Creek and maybe even bump into some turkeys while we're over there. Check it out, man. All right, we're out. I'm going to give you guys back your day, and we're going to hit the road and go head for the Chiricahuas. All right, guys, take care, man. We'll see you in a few.